It's really best for you to just keep things to yourself. Most people, and I mean people that you come across, especially people that you've, and time to time we say this again, people are the closest to you, they won't understand anything that you're going through until they go through it. And even when they are going through what you're going through, and even though you done explain to them before, and in actuality they're still in your life, they will never acknowledge that, oh man, you, not a lot of them, but most of them won't acknowledge that, yo, you know what you said about what's your name? I understood what you went through. That time when you went through them struggles and said that they'll never tell you that. But you know what? I guarantee you, they'll hit you up and tell you what they're going through, and you don't tell them, hey, I remember, yeah, I told you, yo, it's not gonna be easy, and they'll sit there, yeah. They'll forget that the fact that, hey, you didn't tell them what you went through. And this is one of the reasons why, for me personally, I even had to learn a lesson to myself, is that in actuality, you know, God was talking to me. I pray all the time. He makes me see things that I didn't even see. He talks to me all the time. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I don't want to make it look like there's a religious thing. I talk about God. I talk about this, but my views, I don't get a lot of views, which is cool. But I'm not trying to put this in your face that, you know, I talk to God all the time, make it look like I'm this guy that's religious and spiritual. I am, but what I'm going with is that I pray a lot. You know, I talk to the Most High. I talk, you know, to my intuition talks to me, and it's like, I told you to keep things to yourself. I told you that not to say that. And I realized that, hey, when I tell people certain things that I go through, they'll come at you and just let you know that something is wrong with you. They'll let you know something wrong with you, and it's like, it's not until they go through it, then it's okay for them to say that, okay, this is what I'm going through. And then you being the person that actually went through that experience, you being that person that, hey, that, you know what I mean, you're not judging, you're understanding, then they'll sit there and they explain to you, and they expect that, hey, there's nothing wrong with me. Before I get into the video, let me introduce myself. This is Gene, your best friend, your new best friend. And today we're going to talk about, in the title of the video, most people won't understand your struggles until they're in your shoes. I just came up with that topic. I'm just sitting here. I'm doing some research. I'm doing some things. I'm just like, yo, I'm just thinking about something that happened recently, which is, you know, not like no big thing, but it's not until I realized that, yo, it's crazy how, you know, it's not until most people go through something and then when you want to vent or bring up something and get their what their thoughts are, right? Because we all have that person that in our lives that we want to just like, yo, vent to, you know what I mean? Because, yo, we human, right? But I realized that you don't need people. You don't need people, and honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you. Other than that one person that I do to actually talk to and vent to, right? You know, because, you know, I thought the person, like, you know, which is not wrong with that person. Ain't nothing, no beef or nothing like that. Actually, we real tight though. But I realized that everybody has their own issues. Everybody got their own problems. You know what I mean? And everybody has their own experiences that they currently going through. And not everybody's gonna sit there and want to hear you out until they are in the same position that you were in. And then when that time comes, when they're in your position and they're in your shoes, that's when they want to come and talk to you and tell you this and that and want you to understand them. This is one of the reasons why, too, I got a complete understanding. Complete understanding. You know, I totally understand that whatever I want to do, anything that I'm going through, keep it up to God. Keep it to myself. Emotional intelligence is really, really important. And I couldn't say that emotionally intelligent. Yes, I am. But at times, though, I do want to just talk to somebody and just want somebody to hear me out. And at some point, man, I realized that, you know what? It's good to the point, man, where you're going to just pray and just keep it up to God. You know what I mean? Personally, not everybody's want to hear you out. I understand that now, and this is the case with most people. They're selfish, which is no problem. You got people that are selfish. They just come into your life and just want to use up your time and resources, right? But you got those that, they don't talk to nobody, and even me. I just keep things to myself and just focused on what I need to focus on and not worry about nobody. And that's the point where you got to get to. Keep everything up to God. Listen to motivational videos. You know what I mean? Until you come across people that, that can give you good advice. But it gets to the point now where a lot of people, and especially the people that are the closest to you, they don't want to hear anything that you got going on. If you do have somebody like that, consider yourself very lucky. Consider yourself very, very lucky, because in these times now, a lot of people are going through things. And it's not easy. It's not easy at all. And I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I completely understand. You could be going through a situation where you're in a relationship. You could be in a long-term relationship, and then you guys are just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. You're a person that actually went through it, but you wasn't talking to people. Nobody really knew about it. Like, for example, like me, right? I've been in relationships, man. I've been in relationships since I was in my early 20s. You know what I mean? I'm talking about early 20s. Even when I was 15, but like, it didn't really hit me until I had that serious relationship in my early 20s. But even then, when I was going through it, people didn't want to hear me. They'll listen, but it's not until they went through that situation they want you to hear them out. And in some cases, you'll come across some people like, yo, Gene, I remember when you was telling me what you went through, and I see why. And that's another thing too. When they see that you're single and you're working on yourself, and you took the time to just focus on yourself, like, yo, that's when people will tell you, dang, I wonder how you do it. How can you stay single? How can you do this? How can you do that? And even then, when you're trying to explain to them what you went through and what that, it's like, dang, you actually went through that? I done explained to you what I went through, but you didn't want to hear me out. You didn't want to hear me out, but it's not until you going through your situation, I'm explaining my past experience. And even then, when you're giving them advice, they still don't want to hear it. You know what I mean? It's really tough. It's really tough, and we come at a time that, and especially in this generation, most people don't want to hear you out or talk to you until that they're struggling and they're in your shoes. So whatever you're going through, I could say this, and I'm confidently going to tell you this, right? Focus on you. Whatever struggles you're going through, even if it's hard, I'm telling you, like, sometimes, like, anything you're going through, an argument, sometimes, like, that could just ruin your day. You don't want to crash out. You don't want to do anything to prevent you from having that beautiful life. And I'm gonna tell you this though, the life that you're living in now, believe it or not, it may not be the best, but there's always someone in the worst position than you. And I had to learn that the hard way, because not everything you're going through is a lesson. And I can honestly tell you, right? For me personally, right? I actually have a struggle that I'm going through, but it's not as hard as what everybody else is going through, right? Of course, we got family that, we see the BS, right? But at the same time, we always have people that are in the worst position than us. And this is one of the reasons why, for me personally, like I always say this, it's really tough to really speak to people, and they don't, and it's like they don't want to hear you out. They think there's something wrong with you until they're in your shoes. And it gets to the point too, like, you just want to stay silent. You don't want to deal with nobody. You just want to stay away from people, because in these times now, man, it's just getting crazy and crazy and crazy. You know what I mean? And I'm not here to like tell you like, be careful, to scare you or anything. But this is the hard reality that we're living in now, And it's always been this way, but it's not as bad as it is now, But like, for example, if you're watching my videos and you can relate to me, and you're like, yo, what Gene is talking about is some real stuff, man. I can understand. Hear me out. it's gonna be to the point where, yo, keep it to God, pray. Everything that you got going on, especially me, I realize that, yo, my life is not as bad as it is. It's not as bad as it is. It's like a lot of people would love to be in my shoes. But for me to be in this position that I am, I had to struggle, right? I had to go through the things I go through, and I had to realize that, you know what, it's going to get better. And then when I spoke life into myself, of course, like I said, I pray to God. I seek, positivity. Watch, also too, I changed the things that I seen, and things actually really got better for me. You know what I mean? So of course, there's new levels, new devils. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean that it's not gonna get any easier or may get much more easier, but at the same time, there's different levels, and with different levels, you're gonna have different struggles and different things that come my way or your way, right? So like I said, whatever you're going through, keep it to yourself. Pray to the Most High if you believe in God, to your higher power, whatever you believe in, and just stay positive. Stay positive, because nobody don't really care until you're in your shoes. And then when they are in your shoes, they want to come around you and vent to you. Do you want that energy around you? No. Keep it to yourself. Focus on what you need to focus on. Don't worry about nobody. Just believe that it's gonna get better. All right. And like I said, I'm doing these messages. Doing these videos. It's not only for you, it's for me too. You know what I mean? So, like again, I invite you guys to please like, share, and subscribe to your best friend. We know best friend. And I invite you guys to please like, share, and subscribe again. All right. Peace.